day for a lot of us across into the region, but for the most part, before we really got the rain, we warmed up significantly. We can see how the rain kind of started off into the west, began to push east because of the kind of cooler temperatures that started off into the west, and we still got to 91 in Midland, but once we got a little bit of the rain, we dropped temperatures significantly, in which right now we are 70 degrees. Most of us are dry as that system from earlier that we saw the rain is starting to dissipate right now into the east, but we are tracking another cluster of storms off into the west that is going to attempt to push east as we head into the next several hours. It's pretty much this kind of big clump that I'm keeping an eye on, as well these little isolated storms. I think the more isolated storms are going to have a bit more of a harder time pushing eastward, as these little storms earlier a little bit more further west, and they've been pushing east, and it's not really having much in the way of luck there. But at least when it comes to rainfall, the hot spot was pretty much into near areas of Howard County, pushing up into near Dawson County. Isolated totals nearly up to 3 inches of rain, but elsewhere mostly kind of a general maybe a half an inch of rain for the most part. So we definitely have had some good rain today, and here's kind of that line of storms that's slowly going to begin to push east as we head into the next several hours. I think the best chance of rain is going to be up into near the Panhandle, pushing in towards Amarillo and Lubbock. I think for us it's going to have a bit of a hard time. Here's why. I think our atmosphere is already just a little bit on that stable side, in which in reality it is kind of good. You know, we've already had some flooding. We don't need too much in the way of additional rain, but I still think we'll have some stranglers of storms heading around into that 3 to 5 a.m. hour, a little bit of rain heading into our Sunday morning, but for the most part it's going to dissipate, I think, really before the sun's going to be up, and we're going to work with more of those kind of cloudier conditions as we work in throughout much of the day. Flood risk is still on tap into the level 2 out of 5 slight risk heading into tonight, reaching all the way up into Amarillo. Most of us are into that marginal risk into the green. Heading into tonight, most of us are going to be into those 60s, a little bit more of those 50s off into the higher terrain. For the highs, we're looking at more of 80s across into the region, 88 into Midland, 93 degrees for your high out into Pecos. That storm chance heading into Sunday still persists. I think south of the I-20 corridor has the better chance, looking around 30 to 50% chance. We can see a little bit in the way of some additional coverage of storms are going to be possible, but I think it's not going to be in the way of kind of a washout that some areas did see for today. I mean, pretty much it was just some good beneficial rainfall more than anything, so I think we can definitely take it. But tomorrow is just going to be less when it comes to coverage. Rain chances are going to decrease heading into Monday, as we're going to stay into those 80s and 90s throughout the rest of the week.